Hello and welcome, everyone. Delighted to have you all. We are here for the Need Indeed podcast series, Voices and Vibes. So before we dive in, I'll take just a moment to tell what the Need Indeed is. Need Indeed is a local nonprofit 501c3 organization founded in 2018. And in these years, 7 years, we have added about 100 or so volunteers, and we do multiple projects in healthcare and in education and on and on. You can check out more details at our website, TheNeedInDeed.org. But the main mission of the organization is to help raise awareness for mental well-being and help the community and support the community in areas of mental well-being. And we do that through compassionate dialogue and activities. And so this podcast series of Voices and Vibes fits just right there. How Voices and Vibes came to birth is we have a monthly program, a women's support group, Be Kind to Your Mind. And we were talking of stories there, conversations there, and realized that even when we meet for a rhythmic cycle of once a month or twice a month, even then we don't have opportunities to get to know our guest and talk to them at length. So we thought, why don't we just dedicate a conversation series where we get to know our guests, get to know our members, get to know our community, and learn from them. Each one of them is a local hero, if I may say, and has a story that's unique and inspiring. And so here we are with our very first guest to kick off Voices and Vibes. So now I'd like to welcome our first guest, Shefali Chahal. Shefali, welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
We a little bit planned. We both have orange. I think it goes well with the Need Indeed logo.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah, and it's summery, and I think we both like orange.
Of course.
It
That's
looks
why we
good on
both are.
us.
Yes.
So, Shefali, thank you for coming. It's wonderful to have you here. I would like to give our listeners a little bit of an overview. Shefali and I have known each other for quite some time, at least 10 plus years, even prior to our Need Indeed relationship. Shefali is an avid volunteer in the community. So through those, but through a common friend is how we had met. And Shefali is invited here today to share her story a little bit about how she has navigated her career in the United States and now where she works and how it came about. So without giving it away too much, I think I gave a little bit of the synopsis. So Shefali, welcome again, and I would like you to please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sushmi. It's nice to be here. I'm Shefali, like you know. I came to US very, very beginning of 1998 and landed directly in Minneapolis. And all these 27 years we have been here.
Wow.
And I work in IT currently. That's my intro.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So you said you came 27 years ago. Was it, I take it was work that brought you or your husband here?
Yes, my husband came. We both worked in IT back in India.
Okay.
He got a job opportunity to come here. So, of course, he came on H1 and I was on a dependent visa.
At that time.
Yes.
At that time. The reason I assumed and said work is because and you're from India originally, right?
Yes.
So back in India, not everybody knows where Minnesota is. And if they do, they're not tempted to come to this cold weather tundra, only because India is more of a tropical country. So weather is not always the allure. But anyway, so here you are in Minnesota. 27 years ago you came, and you said you were in IT. So did you start working right away, or what was it when you had moved? Did you work in a different field or same field, or what was it like?
So when we moved, like I mentioned earlier, I was on the dependent visa and of course applied for the EAD. And I have one son. When we moved here, he was 2 years old. And, so at that point, coming here to a place very unknown, I don't know anyone here except few people in Indian community that I knew. I didn't feel very comfortable to start looking for jobs because I wanted to spend some time. And, I was not comfortable because, back home in India, you heard so many stories. Don't send your kid to daycare. It'll not be nice and all that. So I wanted to be home with my son. So I initially actually, when I moved here, I had quit my job as in IT as a developer. But when I moved here, I stayed home with my son.
Okay. I'm going to pause just for our listeners who may not know some of these acronyms. So IT is information technology. That's an industry that you're referring to. H1 is a type of a visa that is given to people, basically permission to come and work here. So that's what your husband had. And dependent visa is meaning you had the permission to enter the country and be a legal person living here as a dependent of that H1 visa. At that time, 27 years ago, the dependents, did they have working permission or no? You had to get the EAD.
Yeah, you had to apply and get the EAD.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to set that context a little bit for our listeners. All right. So your son was 2 years old at that time. And yeah, I can relate to, I remember hearing from my own parents that when they moved here, they had heard, I think it's not so much, horror stories, but just fear of unknown.
Yes.
If you don't know anyone and you're moving to a new land, then obviously you're going to be a little apprehensive about it. And
Correct.
that's probably what is in your case. So that prompted you to find a profession that allowed you to be with your son, or you didn't work, or how was it?
So I did not work initially because he was 2.
Yeah.
So the kindergarten starts here at the age of 5.
Yeah.
So I had set my mind in such a way that I'm not going to work at least until my son starts school.
Okay.
And also after that, I thought that once he starts school, I should try to find a job that gives me that kind of flexibility to be off when he's off, to be home when he's home, So once he started kindergarten, after that, I started, exploring like, what can I do? And so somebody suggested me actually in my neighborhood only that why don't you, if you are thinking of that, you want to be home when he's home and all that, try to find a job in the school district.
Wow.
So that's when I went to the district office and I started exploring the things and actually started as a substitute.
Okay.
So it was working fine because substitute is you get the call that morning and you just go in and, it's not every day and you come home because it's a regular working school day. So I started doing that.
Okay.
That's how I entered the school district. It took me some time, but I also, about 27 years ago, they were very short of, staff. So any opportunity they were getting, they
would
grabbed
pick on people.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I said wow when you said that you looked at school district, because that's quite a contrast from information technology to being part of not that it's extremely rare, but it's not that common a track that somebody would go from technology to education. So I guess being a mom or being a parent, we can say that often our kids are motivation and they will take us to new challenges or new heights, get us out of our comfort zone. Right. So, all right. So you are a sub in the education system. And is this, can you talk a little bit about the education district? What is it, or what were you subbing for?
So I started subbing in, it was for District 279, which is Maple Grove School District,
Okay.
Maple Grove Osseo School District.
Okay.
because I lived in that school district. And that was another thing. I wanted to stay in that district so
Okay.
that, you know, otherwise the days off in different districts are different
Yeah, true.
sometimes. So I started subbing. My substitute, very first time, which I had no clue what it is, was in a special educations class. And that first day was a shocker because I was not expecting that. I had no clue where I'm going. But at the same time, it was very, it was an eye opener too, because back home in India, at least when I moved here, you know, this everybody used to hide all these things. You know, if they had a special needs kid or anything like that, it was not like, you know, you tell everybody in open, and there were no schools for any special education kids. So that was a shocker for me. Like, oh, kids go here to school that have special needs. That was a wow for me. So that's how I started substituting.
Could you, for our listeners, please tell what special kids with what special needs were there?
So as I moved forward, substituting on daily basis, it was either in a classroom where it was kids with the needs that were either on wheelchair or, you know, have some kind of that kind of a disability. And then other classrooms, kids were with behavioral disabilities, where I mean to say, maybe like one kid has a very high level of anger, or maybe one kid he can come up and actually really hit you and beat you up, something like that. So those kind of different classroom needs.
And as a sub for special needs class, like you said, that was the wow for you. How can you share? How did you deal with it, or how did you adapt to it? Like you were not trained in it, because you just said, and I, coming from India, I can also say that yes, you're right, that often these conversations, now it's changing, but 27 years ago, definitely, these conversations were not had, and the parents or the kids were kind of, just didn't have that equal opportunity.
Correct.
And so it's changing there as well. And so is it. So it's changing here also, even 27 years ago, it was not the same here, and now it's much more mainstream. So how did you grow into it?
I think even though I was working back in IT in India, I do have a gene from my parents, because both my parents were professors, physics professors back home. And so definitely I have always seen my mom and dad doing a lot of things with, of course, older kids, but they were still students. So I think that kind of a little bit of gene that comes from them. So, it was initially, I think a few days were hard, but what was happening was that the same classroom person was gone almost every day.
Oh.
Maybe because it was taking a toll on her, I'm not sure. So I was pretty much in the same classroom. So it was a connection I felt that I made with the kids. And what ended up happening was that person actually quit.
Oh.
And then they offered me the job. So
Okay.
I was a little hesitant to initially take the job, but it fit with the scenarios I was working with. Like, I'll be home when my son is home, I'll be off when my son is off, my summer will be off, and spring break will be with there. So, I think it's just a connection that I made, again, given the gene from my parents. So initially it was little kids.
Elementary school
Kids. And then I switched to actually middle school. And then I switched to
high school. It's so perfectly you laid out for me. So I'm going to jump right in and ask the question. Can you please share how is the difficulty in that same order or reverse, or what was one unique thing with each elementary, middle schooler, high schooler that stood out with you? Maybe I'm throwing too many questions, so take your space and answer.
I think eventually I thought grew on the little kids. I wanted a change. So I started applying for other open positions. So before I actually even went to the elementary classroom of special needs, I actually took a detour and went to the English language learners
Okay.
in elementary,
Okay.
which I was doing. I did it, I think, for a couple years. And then I grew over that. I'm like, of course it's helping, but it's not making me feel that connection.
You were missing. You
Yes,
were missing that.
I was missing that connection. So at that point, an opportunity in a middle school classroom opened, and I took that opportunity. It was in the middle school, I would say, it was a little more challenging because the kids are now big.
Yeah, and puberty.
Correct.
Special needs or not, that's
Correct.
Any teacher would say that's the toughest
Correct.
group, probably.
True. And most of them were boys at that time.
I see.
Somehow, And then, of course, there was one of the students that was Indian. And the connection I made with that kid, and the connection I think he made with me, because, I was being a little bit biased towards him, So I think that kid just made the day. Anytime I used to enter and he used to be, oh, Shefali is here. So, it just, you are already charged up listening
A genuine warm welcome.
Yes. Listening to him and, you're ready to go for that day. So, of course, sometimes it becomes challenging also because our job was not to just stay in one room of that special needs. If there was another special needs room that needed help, we were called there. So, so we used to sometimes, not often, it was not very often, but sometimes used to go between different rooms. And different room, I have been in the rooms where the kids had behavioral issues. Of course, it becomes very challenging. I've been hurt myself multiple times.
Like physically?
Physically, yes. I mean to say, of course, if the kid is running, he opens the school doors and he's running out of the school. You are running really behind him.
Yeah.
So that the kid doesn't get hurt or doesn't leave the school premises and all that.
Yeah.
So all those scenarios, that's one way. And these kids are like, they will hold up your hand. And actually, I've had my wrists twisted multiple times. You feel that, oh, why am I doing that? But then when you come home and you go through the day slowly over in your head again and forget that part, which was the negative, and take all the positive things, you are again, I think, charged up to go
the next day. Shefali, I was listening patiently to you, and I could see when you were talking about that little boy, it showed up in your eyes. So I know he definitely made some connection with you. Any other sweet or salty memory of any other kid comes to your mind, or challenges or impacts that has stuck with you?
I have run into a couple other kids here and there. Once they had quit this, or they were done with their school. So, if they were in a different school, like I've run into them in a shopping mall or something like that. The sweet memory is that they still remember you. Whether they remember you in a good way or not a good way, I'm not sure. But, they will definitely smile at you. So I've run into a couple students like that. So, that's a very nice feeling.
Yeah.
That, at least in my heart, I tried to make that difference for them. And of course, sometimes you had to be tough. Sometimes, you'll put on a face where you are telling the kid that, I told you can't do this, so you can't do that. It's not because we don't want you to do that. It's not
for
good
safety.
For you. It's for your safety. It's not good for you. So that's the reason.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, even if you made one kid's life, made a change in one kid's life, you feel good about it at the end of the day.
How many years did you do this?
Almost 12 years.
Okay. Okay. So one phrase summary of the 12 years would be that you learned a lot and felt it was soul satisfying.
Yes, I learned a lot, and I appreciated it because I'd seen when I came from India, like we were talking, there were no opportunities for kids like that. So having that opportunity here, sometimes we take things for granted. So, having that opportunity here for all those kids, for even for adults who are on wheelchairs, for example, having all these opportunities are very, very awesome thing, I think.
Yeah.
So it just makes you feel satisfied in, if not completely, but a little bit, that you are trying to make some kind of a difference.
Yeah, very good.
Helping somebody.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you said in your introduction that you're working in IT. So I take it that you left the district.
Yes. So once my son was in high school, in 12th grade, I wanted to find an opportunity if I could go back to IT. It was hard. It was difficult. And so I met with a couple friends, took an idea like, what can I go back to? How should I go back to? How should I even apply now? Because I've had so much gap, took a couple training courses and, applied as a contracting position at a bank is what I would say, and got into it. So, again, interestingly, I worked as a contractor for, I think, 1.5 years when the full-time position opened in the same area. And my manager said, Shefali, there is a full-time position opening. Would you like to apply? I'm like, of course I would like to apply. And I applied, I interviewed, and I got the position. So it's been, 13, 14 years now working in the IT back again. I just wanted to go back. It felt like that I have done my education in that field. So I know it was hard to even think after having that much gap. But, it was hard because you are in almost early 40s and you're thinking, okay, I'm doing a career change. Yes, of course. But, it's not difficult.
You answered some of my questions. That's exactly what I was going to ask. That we talked the education job. The motivation was to balance career and home.
Correct.
But I love it. I love the fact that you didn't want to let your education die and you wanted to go back to it. And I was not sure how to ask the age, but you kind of shared. So thank you that you were in early 40s. So yeah, it's not easy at any age to change careers. But early 40s is not early 20s. And so it is a little difficult. I mean, as we get older, we get more apprehensive and we doubt ourselves and this and that. So I'm glad that's definitely an inspiring moment for me that, you decided and you, in a way, anytime you change the profession, you have to start from the bottom again. And that's what that contractor position is, kind of like a sub in the education world.
Absolutely.
So, one would think that, hey, I'm rising, and it's my job to just keep rising. But then you kind of had to take a dip and come back up.
Absolutely.
So, and now this has been, again, 12, 14 years?
Around 14 years, yes.
Very nice. Very nice. And you love it?
I love it. I started doing this. One thing I was now missing was, now I am missing that I want to contribute to my community. So, what can I do? So a lot of things I did. Was a regular volunteer at Feed My Starving Children. Was a regular volunteer at our Hindu temple. Was a regular volunteer at senior homes. And then the TNID came up. So that gave us another opportunity to be a volunteer in addition to there. So, so now that gap is slowly and slowly getting filled up with volunteering at different places in different kind of things, not just one focused thing. And, so yeah.
Because the most what you were missing from your first job, I gather, with that soul satisfying part is being able to make a difference. So you were seeking that when you came, shifted over to IT, and you're fulfilling that or bridging that gap by volunteering.
Correct.
Well, wonderful. I know that you volunteer a lot, and we have interacted in that capacity. So thank you for doing that. Any remark or message you would have for parents or kids in special needs? Anything you'd like to share? I guess one I could share based on what you just talked about is that we're blessed to be in a country where there is an opportunity for kids who have special needs.
Right.
So please seek that out. On behalf of TNID, also, I know that every school district has arrangements for kids with special needs. And then there are special school districts like District 287, for example, in the northwestern suburbs, that the entire school district is dedicated. So if there is such a need, please reach out, get educated, make the most of it. And then if we know someone, let's do our part, like Shefali was you were referring to. Anything you would like to say or add to what I just said in regards to special needs?
There are classes for even parents. They can go online and take classes in case if they need help with special needs. And I think every day, take it as a positive day.
It's a new day.
Yeah, for them. So, we have to kind of, since we are getting this opportunity here, I think parents can really raise their kids equally in this thing. So,
take advantage of
Take advantage of it. And for your career change, there is no age barrier. You can do whenever you want.
Yeah, anything specific you'd like to say to the immigrants, because you're first generation immigrant.
Correct.
So anything to the immigrants who might be in your situation or not sure how to make the career change, any tip or advice there?
Age should not be a limit to change, is what I would say, and you should definitely go for the passion you have for your job. Do really what you want. You might have a stop, think like, okay, can I do this? Yes, of course. Anyway, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
All right, that's a good stopping point, I think. Anything last you'd like to add or say to our listeners?
No, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to TNID. TNID really does a lot of help, I think, in general community with health and wellness is one of the biggest things with TNID. So if anybody ever needs more information on that, they should reach out to TNID and tell us how many more ways we can get involved. We would love to help.
That's right. How many more ways? What would you like us to do? Like the stories or something that come up. So I'd like to conclude. And from Shefali's story, I'd like to encourage our viewers to be adaptable, get out of your comfort zone, explore new possibilities, stay focused, pursue your passion, and have fun. Thank you, Shefali.
Thank you.